Hi, how's it going? Good. I can't hear you though.
What about now?
Now I can hear you.
Yay.
Woohoo. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Cute top.
Thank you. Yours too.
You.
Another Cody special?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Um, it's our anniversary today.
Ooh, happy
So
anniversary. What are you guys
thank
doing?
you. We're gonna go to lunch while the kids are at school, and then maybe some kind of a date tonight. Just kind of.
Awesome. Yeah.
We are going to the UFC in Salt Lake City this weekend. That's
Nice. Who's
yeah.
fighting? Who are you going to see?
I should know. I don't
You
know.
don't know. You're just going with Cody.
No, I do know. I just can't think of their names right now.
That's all
But
right. It'll still be fun.
mhm.
And you'll look
Mhm.
cute. His little ring girl. Just kidding.
Yes, yes.
Well, yay.
I
Awesome.
I
It
should know their
We
names.
don't do huge things on our anniversaries necessarily either. I mean,
Yeah.
we go like, yay, woohoo, we're awesome.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't know. 22 years is pretty good. I feel
Mhm.
like we've made it, you know what I
Right?
mean?
No, I felt like it. Like me and Anthony are
Yeah.
at 20, and I'm like, that feels like, yeah, we did pretty good.
Not a lot of people, I mean, not a lot. There are a lot of people who don't make it that far. That's what I should say. And that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I had something worth making it with. Because I
Yes.
wouldn't ask
Yep.
people to.
There are some that should not make it to 22 years. Yes.
Yeah. But yay.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. And
Yeah.
to making it to 22 years and not just being roommates, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. Actually, know and like, I think
Yep,
it's pretty awesome. I'm a fan.
I am too. But that's not what we're talking about today.
We're talking about something I'm not a fan of.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah.
So, would you like to start the topic off right now or
Sure. Yeah. So
awesome.
basically, topic for today is that our food is poisonous. And I just
In
wanted to kind
America,
of talk about that because the more that I learn, the more I realize that that's not like some crazy thing I'm saying. It's
conspiracy
just
theory.
it's just like a fact at this point. Yeah. Can we agree about that?
Hmm.
Like our
Yeah.
food is no
Well,
bueno.
the food in America is very different from the food in other countries because a lot of the chemicals that are put into American food are banned in most other countries. They look at what goes into the food and they say this causes cancer, this causes behavior problems, this causes like liver problems, this causes a whole host of things, and we shouldn't put it on our food. But for some reason in America, we're like, eh.
We want to turn now to a series of stories that we are doing this week on how U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Holly Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other health-related issues.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread. But one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
There is evidence that it may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Can we say for sure that these differences in regulations mean that people in the US have developed cancers that they would not have developed if they'd been eating only in Europe?
I think that that is almost certainly the conclusion that we could reach.
It's not just potassium bromate, but many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
Do you think most Americans are aware that they're being exposed to substances that are viewed as dangerous over here?
They probably just think, well, if it's available and it's in the store, then it's probably fine.
Stacey McNamara is from upstate New York, but has been living in London for 10 years. She told us raising children on this side of the Atlantic has opened her eyes to what's allowed in food in the US. She has no plans to ever move back home.
And is food safety a part of that decision?
For sure, yeah. How am I going to protect my children when it's just everywhere?
In a statement to CBS News, the FDA said that when used properly, potassium bromate converts to a harmless substance during food production. But at the same time, Nora, it acknowledged that not all potassium bromate may convert, saying control measures can minimise the amount in food.
The breads and the bromate.
Well, you hear that a lot from people who travel overseas. They say, like, even if they have trouble with gluten tolerance or with dairy products and things like that, when they eat over there, their problems are either very much less or not at all. They're non-existent.
Yeah.
And it's because of the extra crap we put in our food.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That I don't think that we can share the whole video here, but I'm going to share a link. Emily shared a video with me earlier, a YouTube video about the
how the cigarette companies
go ahead cigarette companies own the food industry. Is that basically
on the food industry? And the MO is still the same. How do we get people addicted to the food? How do we get them eating more food? And they call them ultra palatable foods. How do we make our foods ultra palatable?
And they've made them ultra addictive
and just things you want to reach for, and they take out the things in the foods that create the full feeling. I saw
the full nutrition, not even just the filling, but they're lacking what the building blocks that we need to stay healthy and build our own selves back up.
I watched a video last night. They were talking about a teacher that did an experiment with her kids. Sorry. Once again, words not wording. She did an experiment with the kids in her class, and she would bring 6 oranges, like 2 groups of 6 oranges, and she would have kids try to eat, see who could eat the most oranges. You know what I mean? And the most anyone ever ate was 4, and after that, they're just like, we're done. We can't. But then she'd give somebody a glass of orange juice, and see how many squeezed oranges somebody could drink, and it was way, way, way more than 4. And it's because regular oranges contain fiber, and so when you're eating the juice and the fiber, your body will signal to you when you're done. It'll be like, we have enough, this is good. But if you're just drinking the juice, man, it can go on for
so much
for
so
a very
fast
much
and
longer
not
time.
even realize it. That makes me think of there's a meme or something where it's like, hey, do you want 10 cheese sticks? Like, like string cheese? And you're like, nah. You're like, but what about if they coat that in breadcrumbs and fry it and give you marinara sauce? Yes.
Right?
Yes, I do want
yes.
that.
Absolutely. That sounds great. In fact, I did that yesterday. So
they're really good, unfortunately.
Yeah. And let's preface this by saying this is not some 2 health nuts that are coming at you.
No, these are 2 people who are terrified of what this is doing to us, because I am seeing very firsthand the ramifications of this right now in my own life. And I see that the generations, like the younger people right now, are getting diseases that used to be considered old diseases.
Yep. And fatty liver disease, they're seeing it in a lot more young people. And it used to be, what did RFK say? It used to be something you would only see in very old alcoholics. And now it's in teenagers.
Yeah, it's essentially like we're breaking ourselves down from the inside out by ingesting these things. We are like the guinea pigs as Americans, because our powers that be have refused regulating out certain things because it makes them money, and they're like willing to use us as test subjects. And unfortunately, it was a negative outcome.
This is not going well.
Not going well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if they if they started regulating things off the bat, it would be really hard for a lot of people. Um, when I, right after I graduated from high school, when I went to Massachusetts, the family that I lived with was very, very much more health conscious than my family was growing up. And excuse me, I'm getting choked up. No. Um, and it was they ate all organic, a lot less sugar. They didn't like candy in their house. They didn't, that kind of a thing. And it was very hard for me to eat for about the first week because I was like, it was such a shock to my system, and I wasn't getting those like the quick calories and the instant foods, you know what I mean? And like I cried the first week because I'm like, this is really hard. But by the time I came home 3 months later, I was like, oh no, I do feel better. And I tried to instigate a few things in our eating, which did not last long. But anyway, like
Yeah.
it is such an adjustment for people that if we did regulate, it would be hard and you would get a lot of pushback from people that are used to having ultra processed foods. And
I mean, pushback is fine, but they should also be very, very much educated
oh, of
about,
course,
like, you know what I mean? And
pushback is not always a bad thing.
I have been eating it and giving it to my kids, knowing it's not great, but just not really grasping how much damage it was doing. And
Mhm.
I'm in a position now where two of my kids are already showing symptoms of malnutrition in pretty severe ways. Bella,
Really?
yeah, after her I mean, because she has an autoimmune condition, which
Yeah.
I am like starting to really question whether or not malnutrition is increasing those, because our bodies aren't taking care of ourselves. We're not giving it the building blocks it needs to take care of itself,
Hmm.
because everything's so depleted. And then the ways that we're trying to reintroduce it in supplements and things like that, it's just, I don't know, it's just not really enough. It's not working to combat
Yeah.
all the bad like side effects. Bella had a really nasty hospital stay where her ITP flared up and she was like at 0 platelets. She was bleeding out because of her period. It was just really like scary. And
Hmm.
after that, that sucks in and of itself, but she has had, I don't know, it's just been like a hard time bouncing back. And that makes sense, but we had
Yeah.
basically just been like tracking her platelets, and her platelets have actually been okay. So we're whatever, but she was getting so much aching like in her wrist and her joints and just all these things that I was like, oh no,
Hmm.
another like autoimmune condition. It's gonna be
Yeah, we're
RA.
seeing
So
different.
we were gonna go to a specialist, but that UF where we go just stopped being contracted with our insurance, United Healthcare. So all of our specialists who we've been working with for the last 8 years
You
now
can no longer
have
get
to
a,
drop us. Yeah. So we have
that
to
makes me
start
so mad.
over. So we're at this point where we're looking at this. So her regular pediatrician was like, well, since we're gonna have to start you somewhere else, let's go ahead and do a full panel and just look at everything. And then, we'll send you over there when we feel like it's appropriate, but let's do like look for the markers for RA and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it came back negative for RA. Thank goodness. But it came
Yeah.
back that she is severely anemic. Like probably when she lost all that blood, it's probably been hard for her to rebuild because
That
like
makes sense.
so, and it makes sense as to why she is so tired and why she is so achy and stuff. But there were other things on there that I was not expecting at all, because she is my best eater. She likes vegetables. You know what I mean? She's just the best out
Yeah.
of all of us, honestly. Her triglycerides are high, her sugars are high, like things that I was just like, this is not normal. And looking at her diet, although she's the best of us, like there is just so much shit in my house. And now that I'm starting to like really, I don't know, like I'm
Pay
internalizing
attention.
it and really realizing it's poison. I'm like, I'm disgusted with myself that I've been feeding them this for so long. Because Haley, her ADHD, her doctor, one of the main things she wants her on is all these different like vitamins and stuff to get her levels. And I'm like, we're literally seeing the ramifications of our food being so horrible right now. Um, it's just pissing me off, honestly. And I'm mad at myself for not like, I don't know, like
Well,
getting mad earlier and recognizing the signs earlier, versus I'm just been too comfortable and too complacent and just not wanting to do the hard work of having to make some pretty significant changes. And now I'm like, I already told the whole family I'm not buying anything except for basically like the Whole Foods. We can make anything we want with flour and sugar. Like we'll have all the things to make whatever you want, but we
We're
got
an
to make it.
ingredient
And I'm
family
not
now.
telling you you can't eat it. I'm just saying I'm not buying it for you. If you can find a way to get it, you can have it. But like I can't buy in good conscience, I can't buy ramen noodles anymore. In good conscience, like I can't keep poisoning you and me.
Yeah,
I and I
that
think
makes
this
sense.
is yeah, like something that go ahead, sorry, I've been
Oh,
babbling
no,
around.
no, you're great. I was just going to say, but one reason there are so many processed and prepackaged foods and all of those things in the US is because the companies actively lobby for worse conditions for people. Um,
Because they're greedy and
like
they do not want to have to give more to anybody, to the people working
if
for them,
you
to the
if both parents,
person at the
yeah,
end.
if both parents are working full time,
Uh-huh.
right? You work a 9 to 5, you come home, your kids are getting home from school, you have got basically 5:30 to 9 where you have to fit in all your family time, all your meal time, all your homework time, all your sports time. So many things have to be packed into that time. You're
Mhm.
not at home, like you're not getting home from work and being like, okay, I would like to prepare a 4-course gourmet meal, like where I have to chop all the vegetables myself and I have to, it's not feasible. It
Well,
just doesn't work. So to think about, most of us get home and we're like, what's really quick to make? What are my kids actually going to eat? Like, okay. And those are the two things. What's not expensive? What are my kids going to eat? And what's really fast? And a lot of times it's fast food or it's prepackaged or it's processed. And that's just what we have time for. It's what we've been sold.
yeah, it's what we've been
Anyway,
sold, but I don't believe that it's not feasible. I believe it's very hard, and I
you're
believe
right.
it shouldn't be this way because I believe we
Hmm.
should be able to survive off of a solo income for people to be able to have kids, but our economy is so
Hmm.
out of whack that that's not the reality. But like
Yeah.
my mom did do a lot of the, planning and making sure that we had food, but they like did expect us to work a lot too, kind of like we're in this
Yeah,
together. We always had things. And so
that is true.
with my girls, like this isn't, I'm like, I'm gonna be here to do it, but like you have to do this with me. So I think it's feasible if it's teamwork. It's not feasible for me to take it on to say, hey, but I'm talking to my family and they've been pretty much in agreement. Like they're a little shocked to their own system, but like, yeah, when you really think about it, like you guys are getting sick at very young ages with things that you should not be like probably dealing with.
Getting
And now
sick with.
looking back, I'm sure a lot of the issues with behavior and stuff that kids have had and been medicated because they were mentally unwell have been things caused by the poisons in the food that we've been feeding them that was supposed to be
Mhm.
sustaining them.
Yep.
And they're also a little frustrated and willing to like do a little, understand why I'm not buying it for them. And I don't know, they're pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's gonna be hard. I'm not saying I'm just gonna do this perfectly or anything, but
of course not.
feel like I feel like I'm going crazy. What is it? Is it on
Awareness
a
is the
Zoolander when he's
first
like, I feel
step.
like I'm taking crazy pills. That's how
Hmm.
I feel.
How does not everybody see this? Yeah. Um, there was there was an old video somebody made. It's like one of the first movies made. Like it's not a movie. It's just somebody had a video camera on the New York City streets in like the early 1900s. It was crazy, and they just sat there and filmed, and people were kind of looking in the camera, not really knowing what it was, and it's just fun to watch. But as you watch, there is not one single person that walks by that you could say that person is unhealthy or obese, or they were all just healthy looking individuals. It's like, man, what have we done?
Yeah, because it's not just that our food is crap for us, it's that it has been made so addictive that like we don't crave it for sustenance, we crave it for a bunch of other different reasons. And so we're all
Because my mouth
overindulging
is bored.
like it's a need almost because we crave it. But
Hmm.
really, we don't need it. Like what we need to survive is significantly less. Like having breakfast every day. My girls don't love breakfast. Anthony doesn't love breakfast. Like his stomach's not up to the task basically in the morning. He needs to
Yeah.
start slow. And it's like, I think we need to listen to our bodies more. But unfortunately, right now we can't trust them because they have been made to be addicted to all these substances. But once we can wean off of them, I don't know, it's
well,
going to be interesting.
And once you start seeing the prepackaged processed foods and all the crap that's in it, you stop being as attracted to it. Like I walk down the cereal aisle at Walmart or Smith's or wherever, and it's like none of this is real food. Like I can't palate any of it. It's just nasty.
I felt that today. I think for
Did
one of
you?
the first times actually, because I've had this so heavy in my mind and stuff, and it's actually day 3 for me without Red Bull. I know that's not a
Really?
huge accomplishment, but like,
Yes, it is. The first days are the hardest.
yeah, and then I'm also cutting just soda, so I'm just doing my sparkling water.
Nice.
So I'm like, I just where was I going with that?
Cutting sugar out, that's huge. Just the sugar and sodas. Do you remember when we worked at the deli? Like
Yeah.
me and Rachel worked at a deli together right after high school. And
yeah, in the
it
bottom
was
of
in
the
the
new skin building. That was really
it was at the
fun.
bottom of a business, but people would come in at the beginning of the day with their ginormous thermos for their soda and they just fill it up with Pepsi or Mountain Dew or whatever their drink of choice was. And they'd come back 2 or 3 times a day and fill this giant 44 ouncer up with soda again and again and again. And what that does to your body is just awful. Your body can't process that much sugar.
It
Like,
can't, and your teeth, which are so
oh yeah, you
important
see
for your
the after
nutrition and
effect of that all
everything.
the time.
Yeah, that constant sugar bath, because that's another thing. I know better. Why am I so drawn to this? Because I know it's so bad for my teeth. My body's clearly like just, it's like it's craving it more than my mind can, like, I don't know, shut it up and be like, but that's bad for your teeth. I convince myself, ooh, but I brush and floss well, but I still get cavities. I shouldn't be getting cavities. They're completely preventable. Like, these things are literally just deteriorating us. It's crazy. Like, there's
So,
no nutritional value at all. There's a little bit of joy to be had there. I'm not like anti-sweets at all because I think I'm just getting really good at making cookies from scratch. You know?
I made some yesterday. They're
Did
delightful.
you?
I'll give you some recipes. They're great.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. I'm ready to go back and be like a
Be
cooking
the cookie mom.
thing. Yeah.
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I have some go-tos. Yeah. So other countries have a good handle on it though. Like these companies already know how to make their products healthier. It's not a mystery. They sell the
Yeah.
same dang products as they sell here, only in healthy versions
This is fully a choice.
overseas.
Yeah.
It's fully a choice.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times when you're drinking a soda and you're like, I could enjoy this with less sugar. Like this is too sweet even for me. You know what I mean?
I'm not there yet,
Anyway,
but I'll get there.
you will drink water for 1 week and see what happens when you drink a soda.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. But yeah, so other countries have put these things into place because it's better for their people. I
Mhm.
think we could do the same thing. Like it sucks to have a loaf of bread that goes bad in 5 days as opposed to I had a loaf of bread that I forgot about on my shelf not too long ago, like a couple weeks ago. It was back behind, I put it behind something and totally didn't know it was there. It expired like 2 months ago and there was no mold. And I'm like, that is actually kind of gross.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Like,
sure like McDonald's stuff doesn't like decay at all. Like there's like a
yep.
hamburger and French fries
And
that still
this
look
was
like
just
fresh.
sandwich bread.
Yeah.
This was just sandwich bread. And when Cody has a sweet little grandma in her 90s and she still makes like 15 loaves of bread a day and just takes it to the neighbors. Like she's amazing. So
That is
sometimes
amazing.
we'll have Grandma Lila bread
Okay, I want
and
to be that
we have
grandma who does that too.
oh, she's amazing and it smells so good. And we'll like make French toast out of it. But if we're busy that week and part of it doesn't get eaten, it'll start going moldy within like 4 days. You know what I mean? It doesn't take very long. So
Yeah,
to
and if
have
you think
bread
about the
sitting
fact
on
that
my
the environment around us can't even break down that food, how do you expect your body to break down and get anything useful from it?
right? Yeah, the breakdown is a natural thing and it helps your body.
Yeah.
Like it's nice not to have to shop for bread for that long, but not if it's not really bread.
Yeah, yeah. There are so many like recipes out there that people were putting out during COVID, like for sourdough starters and stuff, and I saved them. So I need to go back and find all those videos, start making
Yep.
bread.
I should make sourdough.
I know.
Cody likes it a little better.
But oh, I think I was gonna tell you earlier. Did I tell you I went into the gas station to get Red Bull for Anthony today?
Uh-uh.
Well, I'm not drinking it, but I went and got him a couple Red Bulls because he's just, he was having a rough start in the day and he needed some caffeine, and I was like, I'll go get it
All
for you.
good.
But I
No
wasn't
judgment.
going for myself. And I think like I was disgusted from the first step in the door. I looked and I had like just watched something talking about even like our packaged salads and whatever. And so I looked and I saw the packaged salad and I was just like, oh, like just that turned me off. And that was the healthiest thing I saw the whole time I was there. And like you said,
Yeah.
I was not attracted to any of it. Not that I don't know that it tastes good still. I still have that, but my brain was like all of a sudden it was like
You start seeing it and it's
yeah, it was like I put on the
everywhere.
glasses in New Guy, and I saw things for kind of what they were, and I was like, oh my God, like how have I not
Yeah.
seen this before? Like I've been
Yep.
mad, but today was the first time I think I was in a store and was just like not a thing in here is appealing. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna go into gas stations anymore. Because the
Yeah.
only reason we go into gas stations is for treats. I'm like, I can pump at the pump. I gotta stay out of those places because there is
Yep.
nothing like it's convenient, but convenience is killing us right now. The convenience of our food, the convenience of our entertainment, the lack of
Yeah.
like physical movement. There's like I am done
It's killing
being
us. Instant gratification.
convened to death.
Yeah. And it's hard because it's there. And there's a lot of times when you're like, I don't want to cook. Like it comes to, 5 o'clock at night and my kids are all busy and I haven't started anything yet. And I'm just like, I don't want to cook tonight. Like, what do I have that's fast, cheap, and
Yeah.
the kids will eat? Like, it just,
I'm at a point where I'm asking
I,
them for help. I'm saying, guys,
yeah,
I don't know I need us all to help feed
that's
us
good.
better. I can get the food, but I'm at work all day too. It's not like I'm home prepping it. I'm just honest with them. I'm like, I'm not asking you to like cook for the family or be a slave, but just help. It takes work to feed a family. And
I'm gonna be
pretending
home
like
at
a mom
5.
can do it all has been very, very toxic. We worked with our
Yeah.
family growing up, and it was such a huge benefit. I think that's another thing. I actually like talked to my mom this morning and kind of invited her. She would want to join. I'm not sure if she knows how to,
She
but I
may come
sent her
on.
the link so if she does jump on at some point in time. But yeah, they really one thing that they did so good for us was feed us nutritiously. And I like am only recently really like grasping how good that was for us, and just that I did learn a lot from them that I can put into play. And a lot of that was just not being afraid of work, seeing work as part of life, and it can be in a positive way as long as, many hands make light work. I hate working alone, but I will work all day and all night. Like I am a group worker. I'll build a house with you. I'll do anything with you. I'm just a people person, but alone, I'm gonna lay in the bed. I'm gonna have a hard
Well,
time
and
getting
see,
myself up and going. Like
I'm the opposite though.
you're the opposite. You need to be alone to
I
do it.
am. If I'm cooking, I can't have kids in the kitchen. Like I really want to be the mom that's like, you cut this and you do this, but I start to lose my
Oh
crap
no,
and I'm like, I
it's
just need
beyond that.
everybody
I'm
out.
not instructing them what to do. I'm saying, hey, I can't think everybody's thoughts anymore. I don't even want to eat right now. If you guys want to eat, let's figure out how to like eat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I can't.
I think it's super important.
Yeah, and I feel like my girls are at an age where they, like and I have everything available to them here. I'm just not going to make it as convenient anymore for you to eat unhealthy, because that was something that my parents did for us. They did not make it convenient for us to eat unhealthy. They offered us healthy stuff and we weren't given the other options. We found it on our own anyways, and that's going to happen. But I think my health is better than like I see people my own age already struggling with a lot of things that I'm not struggling with yet, and I cannot attribute it to my own actions. It's
Yeah.
100% my parents giving me the building blocks that I feel like I haven't been giving my girls because I've been just asleep and accepting the status quo, accepting this as like the reality. And I think we like really, really need to stop accepting this as like an okay reality and be like, no, we're not your lab rats for you to test all your chemicals because you don't fucking care as long as you make some money. I just think our like the greed in our world and especially in our country is just out of control and stupid.
Yeah. Well, the convenience culture goes for a lot of different aspects. What I'm thinking of is, so we live in farm country. We are related to people who work in farming, and it's in agriculture, and it's a pretty amazing thing to watch. One thing we're finding out now, though, is some of the chemicals used for like pesticides and things are staying in the foods. They say with strawberries, if you took the strawberries and juiced them from one field, you would have enough pesticide from that juice to spray the whole field again.
Yeah,
Like
I
it
have
stays
thoughts
in
on
there.
that too, because my mom and dad, they did garden extensively and, and unfortunately, the way that they treated their weeds was the way that it was marketed to them to treat their weeds. She did do a lot of things naturally as soon as she learned that it wasn't natural, but I think the damage had been done from the years and years of using it, and that is what we believe causes her Parkinson's disease. And
Oh,
she's in her
really?
80s and doing well with it because she works so hard at her nutrition and she takes like she's very big into
She was always really good at
she was, and she
like
can
supplements.
she can get herself to eat things because she knows they're good for her, not because they taste good for her. Like she
Hmm.
eats and does everything for sustenance and like for purpose, and like I can definitely stand to learn a little of that more from her. Like she's already taught me, I just have to like realize that it was taught to me and showed to me and stop leaning on the conveniences of the world because it is not doing me any favors.
Well, I talked to my little sister. She is she's got a lot of views on this. She lived in France for a while,
Mhm.
like overseas, and she loved how French children are taught to eat. She read a book, and I had the name of the book in my head until just now. French children don't something. We'll have to have her on sometime. But anyway, um, so what they do in France is if your kid goes to daycare, each of the daycares has like a hired chef, right?
Mhm.
And the kids learn to eat with silverware, with glass cups, with like everything, and they have like one-on-one help, like at least partial one-on-one help, trying to teach the kids, how to eat properly. And um, they have she says they don't necessarily limit like sugar and desserts and things. They're part of the meal. Like if you go to France, they give you a croissant with chocolate for breakfast. Like it's not like they're not eating any sugar at all.
It's just
But
more
the
natural
difference is
sugar.
it can be a more natural sugar and it's part of the meal. And then they don't snack. You eat your meal, that's what you're eating. And all of whatever you're eating, what it, your the taste, whatever you want, taste for your mouth. I don't know, words not wording. Um, in one meal, and then they just know they're not going to eat again until their next meal.
Yeah.
And that's just the culture. Like,
And I think that
uh,
like now with so many people having blood sugar problems and knowing the way that like all the sugar and the complex carbohydrates cause you to have like these spikes and crashes, they need us
mm,
eating more to keep us from crashing like so big. You can't eat so much because we know this shit is gonna make you go down hard. So just have a little
mm,
bit, like 6 or 7, maybe even 8 times a day. Like that was the
yeah,
recommendation. Now people are just fasting in huge amounts and then eating whatever they want in the non-times. And I'm like, if you keep eating the poisons, regardless of when you eat it, I'm afraid
still
it's
not good for you.
still gonna be bad.
It's the one thing that's good about intermittent fasting, though, is it stops you from just reaching for food whenever you're bored. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
I
for
have
sure.
family members that have stomach issues, and then if they intermittent fast, those almost go completely away because your body's not constantly inundated with just food. It gives
Yeah,
your
and
body a chance to catch
inflammation.
up.
Literally,
Hmm.
everything that we eat causes like a chronic inflammation. I feel like it's a little bit like I'm constantly explaining periodontal disease to people and how the bacteria, like as it gets inflamed, like it's it causes the tissue to kind of pull away from the teeth and it bleeds, and that gives access to those bacteria to the whole system of the body through the bloodstream.
Hmm.
And just chronic inflammation is so bad. And I think our food is causing like a chronic inflammation. I heard something that said it's not that people are coming back and like it's not that they're coming here and just gaining weight right away. They're coming here and gaining inflammation because their
That makes
body
sense.
is being introduced to literally toxic things. So it's not like you do a trip to America and you gain 5 pounds because, and I don't know the validity of that, but it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah,
The food is worse,
makes absolute sense.
but also it's like your body's reaction to the food, like putting on some
Yeah.
extra fluids.
Yeah.
Anyways.
When in one of the videos you sent to me, a girl was saying how she went overseas and ate the things that she couldn't eat and was just fine. And then she came back and had one piece of bread, and it was just like she could feel the inflammation and the
Yeah.
like the bloating and the
Yeah, and
it just
I'm
caused
so
problems right
used
away.
to it. I've been eating it for so long. I'm like, I don't know. I hope I just feel amazing. I feel like my stomach hurts a little bit, like as I've been having less, and it's probably just because like it's just in shock from not being fed shit nonstop, you know?
Yeah.
So I got to go through a little discomfort to get to a more like regular comfort.
Hmm. Yeah. And there are times when I use food as like a comfort thing. Like if it's that time of the month, a little freaking ice cream goes a long way. Like
Yeah.
um, but I think I was thinking this the other day. I'm like, if I cut down on my sugar intake and like my junk food intake and just saved it for like that time of the month and like I got a candy bar or just you don't go hog wild, but you give yourself an opportunity to have those things at the time when you need them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need them. That's a wrong thing to say. And
Yeah,
maybe
no, it's
that's
okay.
just
It's okay if you need
a
a
two-way
little
an
here and
addiction.
there. My thinking is just now that I see it as poison, like I
Don't want
can't
any of it.
I don't want any of it. I can't let my kids have it. Like I need
Yeah.
to like I was thinking I'm like I think this might be the last time I buy Anthony the Red Bull because I can't keep buying it because almost at this point it feels like
Feels enabling.
buying a drug. Yeah, like I am enabling it's
Hmm.
just as caustic to the body as like long-term drug use it feels, you know?
Battery acid. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
One thing, I think we talked about this a little bit, but the family that I lived with in Massachusetts would do on Halloween.
yeah.
Because for me, I was like, it's Halloween and you have children. They need copious amounts of candy. Like,
I mean, I
is it
might
a
just start
childhood?
ordering it from another country because they need copious amounts of candy. Maybe if we just had
Mhm.
the candy that had less of the poison in it, that would be okay.
Well, what they do is their kids, they let their kids go trick-or-treating. They come home, they have a couple of little pieces of candy, and then they stick their trick-or-treat bucket outside of their bedroom door at night. And the switch witch comes and leaves a toy or something in its place.
And then what do
And
we do
so
with
you
all the
could,
candy?
I think they just chucked it, but you could like
Yeah.
give it to wherever,
I don't know, but it's
wherever is
just such a
accepting candy.
waste of things too. Why do we even propagate the like getting that, like
Yeah,
just to then waste it? Because that is still calories when you have people places starving. It's just so hard to do
yeah.
like all the right things.
It is hard to do all the right things. And like you try to make healthy choices and like we'll put something else in their trick or treat bag and you just have disappointed children like, thank you for the sticker. Like
Yeah, a
it's
pencil.
yay. Like we're looking for candy,
You know
guys.
what though?
It's just
If it were like little, granted that's just more plastic, but if it were just little tinker toys, like a bouncy ball and things like I think Elena would be excited about that. My girls would be down for little toys. They want the candy, but at least a little toy is better than like a sticker I don't know.
I like glow
But beggars
sticks.
can't be choosers.
Like,
You are knocking on someone's door and just asking for something. So whatever
yeah.
they give. And thank you.
All right. We had I was with a group that had a lot of people from like Germany and Poland and places like that. And they happened to be there at Halloween. And we're like, this is how trick-or-treating works. And they're like, you just knock on anybody's door and they give you candy. Like, yeah, you want to try? So they just picked a random house and we took them over there and they were like in their late teens. So when the people answered the door, we were like, okay, these guys have never had trick-or-treating before. Is it okay if they trick-or-treat here? And they're like, oh yeah. And they thought it was just the funnest thing ever.
Uh-huh. It is fun.
You just knock on a door and they give you candy. Yeah.
I think I want to share that video right here that I sent you. She makes the little quip in it like about the candy, but never mind. Let me just play it. Let me say it after.
Witches and stuff like that can pray over the candy and put curses on the candy, things like that.
Is that the new batch? Thank you very much. Yeah, like we need to do this. Have you read the ingredient list? No. Okay, I'm going. O dark lord, Lucifer, morning star, burst through the Milky Way, power of the stars, twin twixt Gemini, in the house of Mars, bars. Make these candies tricks, not treats, sour the taste of all the sweets, and those meant to be sour, make the sour greater, or give them the texture of a now and later. May every flavor they choose be the one they hate most. Ew, is that banana? Gross. May your nougat be dry, may your caramel brittle, may the butterfingers always be stuck in your teeth just a little, and may every filling be stale, be it mint or marshmallow, and now and forever may all your starbursts be yellow.
Have you seen the ingredient list? Like I need to do this.
Yeah, that was a giant fear when we were little kids.
And stupid to believe stuff like this.
When we were kids, we were told all the time though, like, be careful because some of these are drugs just made to look like candy.
Guys, I'm not giving any of your kids my weed. That's for me. Okay? Nobody's
Nobody's out there.
drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. They are giving them poison though. Thanks to our US government not making it a priority to regulate. I know you say it will be hard. Do you remember that? I sent you another video. It was a woman talking about it's like she is a advocate, like a food advocate. And I didn't even know she existed, but so I'm gonna start following along because she's doing something that I feel is important.
Yeah.
Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American. Let me give you some examples of McDonald's French fries. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that when the US version still does. This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies. For the last 60 years, almost all food additives were being created for one sole purpose: to improve the bottom line of the food industry and not improve our health. These chemicals were created to mimic real food, to make it easier and cheaper for food manufacturers to preserve their food, to make it last longer on the shelf, to help manufacturing, and sinister of all, to allow them to create products that are more addictive in nature.
All right. So yeah, she's talking about the things that we're talking about, but in a meaningful way, because she's actually talking to, you know, a body of people who might be able to do something about it, I guess. So yay for her for doing
I think
that.
it would be, yeah, I think it would be cool if somebody could invent an AI program that, and I know there's ways to hijack that and all. Anyways, an AI program for anybody who's lobbying for something. You put it into the system, and the system can tell you whether it is a net positive or a net negative for the American people. Like, does this benefit the companies or does it benefit the people? Because if it doesn't benefit the people, we shouldn't be doing it.
Exactly. We don't need companies that benefit off the people. We need companies that work with and for the people. Like, that's what society should be. And we have people who are just more than happy to just live off of other people's misfortune, basically. And we gotta, like, collectively be done with this bullshit. Just be
especially
better.
the people that are in control of what we eat.
Yes.
There's a guy that goes around.
Like, I think they don't have enough people, because I know I've seen things about certain areas of the government just not having enough people to, like, actually do the job that they're tasked with. So we put so much money into war and all these other things, but nothing into just taking care of the people here, you know, like, and these
and they find that the more
I don't agree with at all, because if your mentality is war, like, you're stupid. Your brain is backwards. You're so unevolved and, like, barbaric. I don't know. Like,
it's kind of gross.
It's gross.
Kind of a lot of gross. They have found that when you pour money into programs, it goes more to, like, more people, more bureaucracy, and very little gets to the actual problem. So you have to have people that can actually get things done.
Well, you know that program, or the thing I've talked about a few times on here, so it's the Represent Us movement, which is pushing to make certain things illegal that just aren't illegal, that seem like they should be illegal, like the profiting off of things and the way that lobbying is done. So I think a big thing is that movement needs to keep gaining momentum, and laws actually need to be put into place to hold people accountable, because until it's illegal, people are going to keep doing it. I mean, I hear them all the time out loud talking about the loopholes they use. And they're trying to teach it to people to say, hey, you could do this too. And I'm like, how about instead of loopholes, we stop, like, creating the need for loopholes? Or just people who have, like, a lot of money,
simple.
Like, stop being afraid of having a little less. Like, there's not enough for all of us, like, for certain people to have so much. And we don't have enough for that. Like, we don't have infinite anything. So if you can't spend the money you have in your lifetime, you shouldn't have that money.
Well, if I'm not opposed to people being rich, or
I never said I was opposed to being rich either. I mean, people can be very rich and still contribute. A lot of rich people do. Dolly Parton.
Yeah, but if you close the loopholes, then everybody pays less. Like, you know what I mean? Not everybody pays less, but everybody pays a set amount, and even the people at the top.
Well, if you tax the rich the way that it was even under Reagan, then they're going to be taxed at a percentage that's going to help everybody else. Everybody is taxed the same up to a certain amount. You know what I mean? So those amounts are never going to be taxed higher. You're not going to be taxed all that amount on even the lowest parts of your earnings. So I don't know.
But
Like
for those people at the top, there will always be loopholes to get them out of pretty much
yeah, but
paying
you said if we got rid of the
everything.
loopholes, it would make everything less.
Well, if we got rid of the loopholes and people were paying, the people at the top were actually paying instead of being able to get out of it, then
yes.
what we have to pay is less. Like it could be taxed at a smaller percentage.
Well, and see, and I'm
across
not
the
afraid
board.
of my stuff being taxed. I just want them to be taxed too. And I'm happy for my taxes. I'm happy to give taxes to help the community around me. I just want to make sure that the taxes are actually helping the community around me. Right now,
Yep.
they're not. They're not
Yep.
helping anything
I don't
than
want to
people.
sacrifice to go line people's pockets that already have a lot of money. Like
Yeah, like I want to get rid of
feels
money
gross.
altogether. Go to a.
I think money is a great incentivizer, but you need to put things in place that stop people from creating just modern day slavery. Like it just
Yeah, which is pretty much where it always goes.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
I have this dream that I could talk to the people at the top. Do you ever have like shower arguments with people? I do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
I know not everybody does, but like I talk to people in my head, and in my head I'm very articulate and they understand everything that I'm trying to say.
Sometimes I
and
even
they
use
and
my
they agree.
hands. Like I'm saying it out loud, but I'm not. I'm just like
Yes. So I go and talk to like the owners of BlackRock and people, everybody at the very top, and I say, hey, listen, you guys have made a lot of money. You have made an absolute shit ton of money. And at this point, it's not even exciting anymore. It's just like, here's more money. Yay, here's more money, right? So what if instead of just trying to gain all of the money, like in Monopoly, you know what I mean? What if we created the most kick-ass society that has ever been made? Use your money to create a society that will go down in the history books as just the best ever. Like people were healthy.
a
We
society
focused
that can
on
continue on forever because it's not on the
we
backs of anybody. It's a
create the
cohesive.
best architecture, best music, best art, like philosophy. We were able to like have discussions about so many different things, and it was all attached to your name because you were the one that instigated it. Like you are going to go down like
you're going to appeal to their ego.
The great names of
like you have all the money, now get the notoriety.
Now get the notoriety for doing something amazing, because we have all the resources in the world, obviously, because it's the world. But like we have resources, we have abilities, we have education, we have the knowledge, we have so many things. Let's create something so kick-ass that like thousands of years from now, they're still talking about the society that we built.
It's like we need
with
a
your
Tony
name
Stark,
attached to it.
but a Tony Stark that instead of investing in like building Iron Man, invested in bettering like just the world.
Bettering the world in all the best ways. Like
great, because we don't have, aliens to fight at this moment or anything.
Not yet.
For Iron Man to attack, but you could like help us all get healthy so we're ready to fight with you.
Right. We could do amazing, awesome things.
Yeah.
That's what we could do.
I think you should go have those conversations with them.
I should. I think there's way too much corruption. And if we had a great society like that we would realize how shitty they've all been and grab our torches and pitchforks. But maybe not. Maybe they could do enough good to where we're like, okay, I was going to use a horrible example, so never mind. Really, though, to work towards something that's good for everybody and be like, hey, let's see what we can actually create instead of how far we can hold people back. Like,
well, I mean, but here's the only problem with that. I think there are some of them trying to do that. It's just that they do it with their own personal set of beliefs and biases. So what they think makes the world better to somebody else maybe
doesn't.
Yeah. So it's a hard, like, I don't really know the fix. I just know with what we're talking about today, other countries are doing better than us. So it can be done, and there's being a choice being made, and we need to revolt because this is literally hurting us and our children. Like I was thinking about when my mom had like 9-pound babies and like breastfed them. I I thought my first pregnancy was pretty normal, but I now looking back, I'm like, I must have been pretty malnourished even then, and I know I didn't have the greatest eating habits because I was already away from my parents and but like
Yeah.
I my
Scooby
breast
snacks and
milk
fruity pebbles.
almost like it was nothing. Like Bella had problems from the get-go because I was solely breastfeeding and it was essentially water. There was no nutrition somehow.
Well,
And
and as a breastfeeding mom, could you tell the difference when you ate something that was substantial versus not? Because for me, if I ate Swedish meatballs, that was like the best thing. I
no,
don't know
because
why.
it was so fast that it was problematic that we
Hmm.
pretty immediately had to start supplementing. Because she didn't even reach birth weight again until she was 6 weeks old. Like that's so she was like not thriving at the beginning because so I did not notice that food was somehow like increasing or anything. Like
Connected.
no, for me, unfortunately, and I don't know if it's just that I couldn't absorb it or what was going on with me. But
Yeah.
then with my pregnancy with the Haley, like I always said, oh man, she must have just taken everything from me because like I got hormone driven alopecia, my hair fell out, I got scurvy in my toenails, I got the Pirates disease, like, and that's a
Or
vitamin C deficiency. I don't even remember
it is,
which
it's
one.
a
It was one
vitamin
of the,
deficiency.
yeah. But either way, like I don't think it had anything to do with them. I think is that those are the signs I can now see in myself of my own malnutrition, my body's own inability to like do basic things because as soon as I got out of my parents' house and I got processed foods, I gained a love for processed foods. And I have been so like, I'm always like, how am I not 5 million pounds? Like, I am so fucking lucky. I
Me too.
outate, like, I am an eater and I love sugar. And I'm like, I'm not like thin by any means. I'm just like a, normal-ish, whatever.
You're not on my 600-pound life in like
Exactly. So I'm like, I know I've got away with it in regards to not getting like huge, but I know it's had way other like horrible
adverse effects.
ramifications that I now have to like backtrack for myself and then for my kids because of that. So,
Mhm.
and I definitely can't blame my parents for that. They gave me all the steps. It was just that society was out there to glamorize and make me feel like I was missing out on something. And once I
Mhm.
got it, I literally feel like I'm an addict. I'm a food addict. But
Yeah.
because it brings me joy, because it gives me that immediate satisfaction.
Right. When
Yeah.
you're sitting down and watching a movie, having like some Oreo cookies and a glass of milk or a bowl of Fruity Pebbles or something is very mindless and delicious. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
Hmm.
like it feels like it satisfies something, but then as soon as you're done, you're like, that was not a good idea. Like Jim Gaffigan, do you know who he is?
Yes, I love him.
He's like
He's
I
so
do, I love him
funny.
too. He's like nobody has ever eaten a hot pocket and thought that was a good idea.
Hot pocket!
Because
You
the
just don't.
inside is molten lava.
It's
Oh, up
molten
until it's
lava
cold.
and
It
crap.
just goes molten lava to cold.
The nasty. Yeah. Well, and there's no nutritional value whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's not real cheese, probably not real ham. It's just, yeah, it's gross. But we do it anyway. Why? Because
Uh-huh.
it's convenient and it's there. And
Yeah.
sometimes it tastes good, but not
Yeah.
always. It tastes less good as time goes on. But okay, so do we want to like set a goal for this week? You're doing no soda.
Hmm.
Sweet.
And I'm
So
doing trying not to buy from basically the middle of the store. I told them I'm gonna buy all the stuff for baking needs. Like we have flour, sugar, baking
mhm,
powder, like all the different,
I'll send you some fun recipes.
okay, yes, send me some fun. And then like veggies, fruit are all yes, you can get any of those. But like
No more reaching for the Oreos.
yeah, pretty much. Like, not to say we'll never have them, but right now I feel like I really
Yeah.
just got to get it out of our house. And if we have it, it'll be like a treat outside of here. But like at home needs to kind of be like a clean place where you learn to make like good decisions. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, that was another thing my sister brought up really fast. I'll just add in is
Yeah.
she said, a lifestyle like they have in France is not really feasible here. Like you can do it in your own home, but she said so many people are out there also feeding your kids. Like they go to school and there's donuts for somebody's birthday, or they go to somebody's house and they have candy and
Uh-huh.
whatever. So it's a lot harder. In other countries, you're not allowed to feed other people's kids. It's like it's taboo.
Mm.
So kind of cool.
I mean,
But
I like the sharing of food though.
I do
But,
too.
yeah.
I do too. And there's times it has to like you can't get away from it. So
Yeah.
if my kids have friends over and it's dinner time, I'm not going to be like, you go watch something in the living room. We're eating now. Like that's dumb.
Yeah.
We eat, you
Agreed.
eat.
Yeah. Hmm.
So anyway, that was kind of
Yeah, no,
out
I
there,
think
but
I mean, it makes me want to like move out of the country, but that's not really feasible either.
even for
And
me
every
that
place
lives out in
has
the
its own
country,
different problems and, so I know.
and we have been conditioned. I'm sorry, I know we're trying to wrap up, but
No, no, that's okay.
we've been so conditioned. I will speak for myself. I have been so conditioned by like easy to access foods at the grocery store that
Hmm.
even when I have a garden, even when I raise my own chickens, I have a hard time eating the stuff from my own garden or
Hmm.
eating the eggs that come from my chickens, even though they're extremely
Yeah,
better for you than the stuff in the store. My brain just says that's not store food.
yeah.
Like,
You've
how do
said
you
that
know
before and
there's
I
nothing in
totally
that?
get it. Yeah. I think I just am like, I don't know. It's like a
It's
struggle I'm
time to
willing to
get over
have
it.
with myself to get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a grown ass woman and I can eat some salad from my own garden and it will be great. Like,
Yeah. And maybe
yeah,
it's
I'm
okay
not
there's a bug
pivoting.
on there and you flip it off versus having a pesticide on there to keep that bug from ever being there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some places eat bugs.
Exactly.
They're protein. Not saying that's what I
I'm
want
not
to eat for
there.
protein,
I'm not
but
there. I'm
like,
not cricket flour yet.
no, I don't want to eat them, but I think we eat them all the time anyways. Oh,
Is your mom here?
well, at least her picture is. Alrighty. Anyways, so another time.
All right.
So in summation, our food is
To
poison.
sum up, our food is poison. Um, and until we can do something about it and get people to uh ban the things that are causing cancer and things that are not good for our bodies, then we need to try to make the best decisions we can, which are mostly making things at home and
Yeah. Like
raw
I
fruits and
think
vegetables and
really prioritizing nutrition as almost like a medical need. Like I have
it is a medical
this
need.
view down here of living near the villages and then working with them in a dental practice where like a huge like portion of them are on like your high blood pressure, your cholesterol, all these different things and it's like
Hmm.
our food is not good for us, leads us to these like bad health conditions, and so that another industry can come in and give us pills to fight the side effects of our food is kind of what it's looking
But
like.
if we just started out healthy, then
Yeah, and if we
we'd be a lot
ensured
better.
like that our nutrition was coming from like our food and knew where our food was coming from, like I think so much progress has happened, but and I'm not willing to go back as far as rights are concerned, but I would happily go back to a different work model and more like back to more farming or just I don't know. I'd be willing to try lots of different ways of living. I'm just not willing to continue to willfully poison myself and my kids, and I've got to figure something out.
Yeah. Well, and if we did focus on health and just general well-being, I think the other systems would fall into place. Like,
Less need for medical and dental care, so they're not so
yeah,
overrun. So maybe we can get them into a little better position. I could see
yeah.
how there would be a bit of
I'm
a
I'm a huge fan and proponent of the 4-day work week for mental health and like general overall well-being. What it has
hmm
done for my family to just have a 4-day school week
hmm
is incredible.
I wish
Like
that would
just
be
for
so awesome.
myself, it's huge. And it sucks because for the people that do have to work Monday through Friday, that's like an extra day of daycare. I mean, it's
Childcare,
not all.
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. But mental health wise, having an extra day is everything. So I think there are things we can do for our mental health and for our general well-being and for our general health that it goes so far. It could go so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. Well,
And
and I mean,
yeah,
and I've like been talking about it and like acknowledging it for a long time without like, I don't know, like believing it was actively affecting me or something. I don't know. Like
yeah,
we know it, but then what do we do with that knowledge?
yeah. Now we know. Let's go and do.
Do better. So I'm gonna try to do.
Me
All
too.
right, well,
I will try to snack less on sugary foods this week.
and I
And
will not have any more soda or Red Bull. Period.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
ask you about that next week.
All right. I'll check on your sugar, you sugar fiend.
Accountability.
Yeah.
I really am. It's gross.
Yeah, me too.
So,
It's a problem. But we're working on it.
but it doesn't have to be. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It won't always
So,
be. We will. Yeah.
we will triumph.
Yes. All right. I love you. I'll talk to you
Love you
later.
too.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye, Liz. Bye-bye.
Lilas. Bye.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.